What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Liv BTR Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Siano, CEO of SABRE Advisors. Today, I'm sitting down with my friend Lauren Cody. Lauren is the brand president of Orangetheory Fitness, one of the world's largest and most innovative fitness brands. Lauren's a results-driven leader with over 25 years of experience transforming iconic consumer brands and guiding businesses through big moments of growth and innovation. She's held executive roles at global powerhouses like McDonald's, where she served as Global VP of Insights and Analytics and CEO of McDonald's Norway, leading a market turnaround that delivered over 20% growth in just 3 years, as well as Panera Bread and Ellier's Life. Now at Orangetheory, Lauren's focused on strengthening the brand's position worldwide, evolving their science-backed, technology-tracked workouts, and ensuring every studio thrives, while keeping their mission front and center, helping people live longer, more vibrant lives. I'm excited for this conversation with my good friend Lauren.
I just want to have peace. Pay for the bill, let them take my card, never see the receipt. Good health, we prize, but everybody around prosperity.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Liv BTR Podcast. This is your host, Jay Siano, and this is the show for people trying to optimize every area of their life. Let's go.
I just want to have peace.
Today, I have a special guest. We started this morning really early at Orangetheory. How I like to start my days, but don't do it enough. Maybe that showed in the workout this morning. Lauren Cody, the brand president of Orangetheory Fitness. Welcome to the Liv BTR Podcast.
Thank you, Jay. I am delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
What I want to start with, and most of my audience and people who know me know how much Orangetheory impacted my life in so many different ways. Really, in both a professional way, working with the founders at the beginning of the journey. And then once I started to work with them, I became obsessed with the workout and feeling good. And it literally changed everything in my life. It set me off into a lifestyle of just being as healthy as I possibly can, being present for my family, and leveled up literally everything in my life.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
I'm sure I'm not the first or the last to say that, but let's pretend that I'm the most important for now.
Absolutely, 100%. No, I'm not surprised to hear that, having nothing to do with Orangetheory actually, but just living well. And part of living well is exercising regularly, getting the sleep, getting the nutrition.
I oftentimes refer to Orangetheory as the gateway because I know so many other people like myself that would be aimlessly in a gym, checking their phone after doing a couple of different sets on a piece of equipment. And Orangetheory, I think, introduced to so many people a concise, hard way to work out that's fun.
Yes, I've experienced that myself. I've heard that from a number of family members, actually, who are Orangetheory fans. The way I like to describe it is Orangetheory is the multivitamin of fitness. Not only does it have the strength element and the cardio element, which you need for both longevity and living better for longer, but it's gamified a bit. And so therein lies a bit of the addictive element of going to work out and it being really fun to work out because you can see your personalized data, how you move between the heart rate zones as you go from the strength floor to the rower or to the treadmill and see your heart rate climb. There is the gamified element, which makes it really fun.
For sure. And we had some cheerleaders in class today, and I can absolutely say beyond the shadow of a doubt that if I was working out by myself, I would not have been able to push myself the same way. And I think that's what is so great about it because, again, you're definitely working hard, but you're actually having fun doing the hard work.
Yeah, and I think that happens with the community in the studios. You've got people you're seeing there regularly. You're pushing each other forward. But funny this morning, because I was working out beside you, it's the first time we worked out together. I was pushing myself a bit harder than I normally do. But we were having a few laughs.
Totally.
A few other people, we were slightly, possibly a little bit more senior than some of the other people working out.
I pointed out that we were the only two in glasses working out. And then there was actually another person next to you that rounded us out to 3 people.
Yes.
And we were having fun with that.
Yeah, 3's a quorum.
Yeah, there you go. And I also appreciate you telling me that you pushed yourself.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have known that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's no, not at all. I know that we were definitely giving it a good go for sure, but I wouldn't know, like you and I wouldn't really know. And I think that's interesting too, because it does, again, push you to really give that effort, which is, I think, the difference for sure in fitness. It's so easy to stay in your comfort zone, check the box, which is okay, by the way. Like, not every day needs to be a really intense workout, but I have always and continue to enjoy an Orangetheory workout. And the running. I don't really run otherwise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I really do a bit of outdoor freedom. And so for me, running equals freedom, particularly outdoors. Freedom to be able to move, freedom to take that time. So I'm a bit of a outdoor running enthusiast.
Okay.
Outdoor sports in general. But our treadmills are the softest I've come across in terms of impact. I love running on our treadmills because it minimizes that impact a lot.
A lot. And I actually have bad knees. So for me, the treadmill is so much better. An Orangetheory treadmill is like running on clouds. The pavement hurts my knees. So that's why I enjoy running at Orangetheory. But you have a pretty wide background of experience. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to Orangetheory?
Yes, I'd be delighted to. Professionally, I can start there. That's what makes most sense to people. That's what's visible about my profile. I've had a career in a business which is quite different from fitness, but there are some red threads. My background is in QSR and fast casual, so I spent almost a decade with Burger King on both sides of the Atlantic, 4 years working in the United States out of Miami, and then another 4 years working globally out of London. And then I joined McDonald's leadership team in the United Kingdom. That was a big brand and business turnaround. We had nearly 200 franchisees, about 1,400 restaurants there at the time. So it was a sizable business. And after having fun there for about 6.5 years, it was a very successful turnaround. I took the playbook and went up to Norway and ran the brand up in Norway for some years, and then moved back to the mothership in Chicago. So I had been outside of the United States for 14 years, had my husband and I married shortly before we left the U.S., so I had my daughter overseas, and so we all moved back to the U.S. in January 1st, 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a very different country than we left.
Yes, it was.
Back in 2003. So it was an interesting time. I had a global role for McDonald's, and then during the pandemic, I moved over to Panera. So I spent some time with them. That's primarily a U.S.-based business. Sure. It was right in the middle of the pandemic, and so brands were pulling out all the stops to demonstrate creativity and meet consumer demand where they were, which was pretty much in the home or anywhere not in a public place. So that was fascinating. And then I had the opportunity in 2022 to do something that I had been curious about and very interested in, which was the age wave, the longevity economy. Thinking about, okay, I've spent a lot of time in consumer-facing, multi-unit franchise brands. Would love to see how I could apply that to helping people live better for longer in their golden years. So I joined a business called Alaris Life. It was fitness, rehab, and senior living for older adults. So the businesses were integrated. The brand that was fitness and rehab was Agility. And then it was part of this business called 5-Star Senior Living. That was a great opportunity to be able to have a fresh look at how to transform the industry for the boomer generation. So that was a great experience. And along the while, I was realizing, gosh, in my personal life, I've actually been on the fringe of the fitness industry for decades. So when I was going through college and then graduate school and getting my first job, I was working in corporate America, but I loved the fitness industry. I loved studio fitness. I loved being in gyms. And so I got my certification to teach step aerobics and spin. And so I was doing this as a side gig and really enjoying it. I was getting a lot of my social life through that and spending a large part of my weekend doing that. And then as I met my husband, who's a marathon runner, we did a lot of outdoor sports in different countries and always staying fit and active. It was just very serendipitous that I ended up in a position where my network collided with this opportunity with Orangetheory, and it was like a win. What I want to do with my professional expertise, which is to help more people live better for longer, what I love doing, which is being active and fit and feeling great, and what the business needs from a leader right now in Orangetheory, someone who's very experienced at franchising and not only growing franchise businesses, but turning around and transforming franchise businesses, someone who knows customer-facing multi-unit success very well, operations, operational excellence, and delivering that customer experience every studio, every class, every time in a great way, and certainly better than the competition. So that's the goal, but that's how all this came together. This is the best opportunity I could ever hope for in terms of I love what I do. And so I feel very lucky.
It's awesome. It's interesting because when I started out in commercial real estate, one of my first accounts was Starbucks, and almost the entire leadership team that I interfaced with was from McDonald's. So the real estate playbook for sure at Starbucks in that time period was very much from McDonald's. As I've really continued to focus more so on the fitness industry, I've found that the businesses are not as professionally organized the way that QSR businesses are, the way that we're used to working, the way that real estate and operations are so aligned. And I feel like when I started with Massage Envy was my first kind of foray out of QSR. And after Starbucks, Chipotle was one of my larger accounts that we were just bringing them to New York Metro at the time. When I discovered Massage Envy for the first time was actually the first franchise concept that I had worked with, because Starbucks and Chipotle are both corporate. And so I learned about the different ways that franchises grow, whether it's through an area developer model, multi-unit. A lot of franchises will just sell 1 or 3 packs and everything in between. That transition to European Wax Center, which I tell this story a lot, and then ultimately Orangetheory. A good story for you though. I'm actually site touring with Massage Envy with Jerome and Kern and his wife April and the kids on a Saturday in New York City, deciding if we're going to come into New York City with Massage Envy. During that tour, April is talking about Ellen's Ultimate Workout in Davie, Florida. Jerome and I are like laughing at the name of Ellen's Ultimate Workout, think nothing of it. Fast forward, he's come down, I want to show you something. And I went to work out at the first Orangetheory Fitness. And it was just like, wow, there was something special about Ellen's Ultimate Workout. And to sit here with you today is very surreal. It's a crazy experience.
You have to stay friends of the firm, Jay, so you can see us all the way through.
Dave intended for that to happen, which is how we connected. So it really holds a special place in my heart. And there's a few brands that do that have such an impact on not only your career, but your life. And I'm so happy that new direction for me was such a healthy direction. And it's been, my wife also is very fit, loves Orangetheory. We do it together all the time. It's actually, it's me time for us is going to Orangetheory together. And we've been doing it obviously for a long time. And it's just been really a ripple effect of positivity in our life.
That's fabulous. Yeah. Fabulous to hear. My husband and I are getting into the routine of having me time at Orangetheory. So remember what I said before about the addictive element of the workout. I think he and my daughter often compete for splat points, which is not the point of the workout, but try telling a 16-year-old that. And then her father, who's decades older, when they get together, it's a laugh. That's why I have to have me time with him at Orangetheory so he can focus on his workout and not his points.
It's interesting because most of the positive decisions, like the decision to not drink alcohol about 3 years ago now, are because my boys that are now 10 and 13, I just wanted them to, I want to lead by example. I want them to understand that I'm not okay with certain things. And the only way I could show them that is I don't drink. So it's not something that I'm okay with. And fitness has always been something that they see us do. But it never really clicked. And I would try to bring them to places to get them to do stuff with us. And they would here and there, but it wasn't really something they were gravitating to naturally. Playing sports and whatnot, but not just working out and staying fit and running and things of that nature. And all of a sudden, like a light switch, maybe a month and a half ago, my 13-year-old, he turns to me and he says, I'm going to run a mile a day and I'm going to start tomorrow. And my friend's with me. And he goes, I'm going to start tomorrow and I'm going to add a 0.2 every day. That's too aggressive. You don't do that. Discouraging him. And I left it and just let it marinate. And I was like, that would be amazing. I think that's a great idea. You do what your body tells you and so on and so forth. So he disappears, and because my friend's telling him that he shouldn't do it and can't do it, he won't be able to do all these miles. So he disappears and he comes back all red-faced. I just ran my first mile. Stuck to adding a 0.2 since that day. So like now he's running a ridiculous amount of miles.
That's amazing.
And I'm so impressed every day. And now he's up there on mileage, obviously. So he'll walk now. I'm like, it's okay to walk. Do not push yourself that hard. Don't hurt yourself. Yeah. But I'm so happy to hear you say that like your daughter obviously is competitive and my son just automatically, I think it's just from watching what we do. It's great.
That's impressive, especially at 13.
Yeah.
My daughter's 16, so, you know, she's got the heart rate monitor on and she goes in and she steps on the treadmill and she's in the orange and then she wants to make sure she has more splats than anyone else. You can see for her age how that can get very gamified.
Totally.
For your son, it's not gamified. And so that's all the more impressive.
Listen, discipline is the key to excellence.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have a routine that you utilize in any way, a daily routine, a morning, an evening, just your schedule?
Yes, I do. It's hard to be exactly the same every day because of travel. I travel usually twice a week every week because I spend 4 days down in Boca, which is the headquarters of Orangetheory. And then I spend the other 3 days a week, the weekend basically, up in Chicago, where my daughter's in high school. So the routine does vary a little bit with travel, like I'm here this week. But typically what I like to do is when I get up in the morning, I work out usually 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. I'll do Orangetheory usually 2 or 3 times, depending on how many outdoor runs.
Yeah.
I'll do 1 or 2 outdoor runs, depending on how many Orangetheories. And then I get in a separate strength training and Bikram yoga. That's one thing I've done for over 20 years.
Wow.
So I've stuck with that. Probably 25 years now I've been doing that. I need the heat. I've lived in some really cold countries. And then when I can squeeze it in, a couple times a month, I play golf. You're outside, little cart, hitting a small ball.
Yeah.
So that's like the fitness routine. But then it's go. I take usually 2 out of 3 meals a day, sometimes 3 meals a day while working in some respect. So I have to be really mindful of nutrition. I'm very mindful about what I eat if I'm going to demand so much.
What does that look like from a nutrition perspective?
In general, I'm not a big eater, so to get enough protein is a real challenge for me.
1 gram for every pound of ideal body weight.
That's what they say. I don't know if I've ever been able to do that in my life, but I'm more than half my body weight. So I'm more than 50. So I'm around between probably 70 and 80 on a given day.
Is it because you're not adding like a protein shake or a...
It's probably that, but also if I'm going to have a protein shake, then I got to skip a meal. I'm just not that hungry. So haven't quite gotten that down.
Eggs, chicken.
Yeah.
Like those are the 2 hacks.
Yeah, I'm hacking it.
Yeah.
A lot of eggs and chicken for me, as much as I can handle. But I genuinely love like vegetables, fruit and vegetables. That's not a problem for me, but like getting that protein. Yeah, so that's actually the hardest thing for me. Not exercising, not sleep. It is actually consuming enough of. So there's no junk food because there's no time, there's no room. Just trying to get So that's probably the biggest challenge. But I have one thing I'm maniacal about is shutting down for sleep.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have my lifestyle without 30 to 45 minutes before I know I'm going to put my head on the pillow, stop everything, strict routine, brush teeth, get whatever your hygiene routine is going to be. And then I try to carve out 25, 30 minutes of stretching and breathing and before sleep.
Wow.
Shakti mat, on the Shakti mat with the breathe. Yeah, that is my one non-negotiable.
Wait, what's a Shakti mat?
So I'm surprised you don't know because you're so into health wellness. But Shakti, it's like the old Indian concept, Indian meaning from India, bed of nails. So it's like a mat, the old style was all these nails, like the sharp part of the nails up. But when you lie on it, it does two things. Number one, it brings a lot of circulation through your muscular system. And second, there are pressure points that are really helpful. So in modern days, we don't use that, but we use a Shakti mat, which is plastic, sharp edges everywhere. I think it's pretty common. Like you can get one on Amazon.
Okay.
But I'm into the Eastern wisdom tradition, and this would be one of them. Sure. Part of the whole, not only yoga movement, but very into kind of the Hindu wisdom traditions. And so the Shakti mat is a great tool. Like I get a lot of knots and soreness, and unfortunately I don't have a masseuse on call. I try to get that whenever I can, but the Shakti mat does wonders.
I'm gonna get one.
When we're finished, I'll pull it up on Amazon. I'll show you. Sit on it. Like sometimes when I'm working even at home, I'll sit on it for my hips and everything. But before bed, lying on that Shakti mat, that's the ticket.
And what time is bed?
It depends when I have to get up. Usually, definitely by 10. Once in a while, 10:30. But weekends, it just depends on what's going on. But weekdays, try 10.
Do your weekends look similar from a wake time?
They should, but they don't.
I'm asking from a circadian rhythm perspective.
I know, you're supposed to know. It's important.
During the week, you're running, and it's not easy to have to give yourself grace.
I'll sleep in on a Saturday for sure.
I feel like my body clock doesn't allow me to, and then I just need to work out. I just pop up. I need to get my workout done. I usually schedule a class or something, but I'll make it later than I would on a weekday.
Orangetheory. If I'm going to do Orange on a weekend, it's the 30 class. That's usually Sunday. Sunday is Orangetheory, but Saturday is usually Bikram in the morning. It's my time to reflect on the whole week. And I try, it's not like I go in thinking I'm going to reflect. I go in focused on the breath and the poses. When I just walk in the door, my cells are like, okay, we're home. As you're doing your moving meditation, I'm processing the whole week. So there are multiple benefits.
That's awesome. And since you've been doing it so long, it's just routine. Like you can get right into that flow.
It's like when I'm orange, I don't feel the heat either. In fact, our studios are quite well air conditioned. So this morning I was wearing 2 t-shirts.
Yeah. What about sauna?
Oh, love sauna, love steam room, love all that.
Cold? So much.
Not my gig. In Scandinavia, in Norway, very common. You have a sauna or a steam room.
Of course.
And then people go out in the snow, or better yet, they have a frozen lake or something, and they carve a little hole, and they go. And I'm thinking, my mind goes 10 steps ahead. You can't get back out.
Leave their babies outside.
Nuts. Yeah. It's nuts. So their appreciation and utilization of the cold is far beyond what I want to experience. I know it's really good, this cold plunge thing, but I haven't quite gotten there.
I feel like for me, once I introduced it years ago, if I did it before our class this morning, I have another gear that I could tap into, which is cool.
Amazing. So you do it before the workout?
Yeah, so you're supposed to, if you want energy, you do it before a workout, and you also shouldn't do it within 4 hours of a workout because it affects your muscles. So depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking to stimulate muscle growth in any capacity, you wouldn't want to do a bath until 4 hours after working out.
Okay, and what about for anti-inflammatory? What about that?
So again, I just think it's not directly after a workout.
Okay.
So that's what the authorities in the space really believe, at least, because who knows what to believe. And I just go by feeling. So for me, sauna, we know there's a 50% reduction in all-cause mortality as a result of sauning, a minimum of 3 days a week or something like that. Cold, you don't have enough data that like it's actually beneficial for you, and it's very different for males and females. The temperatures are very different. Women should not be in 38, 42 degree water. Apparently, it's just different. So I think you have to also know your body and everything else. A lot of data is coming out. A friend of mine who's a Whoop scientist has done so much data on that. So you're starting to see more about that. But for me, it's a resilience tool where I like to focus on neutrality. I try not to experience high highs and low lows, regardless of what's going on in business and personal life. And cold has helped me so much. Nothing gets to me.
Wow. So I look forward to learning a lot more about this as the data comes out and understanding the benefits and how to use it. Kristen Holmes.
You have to look at her stuff. It's fascinating. She's so smart, and that's her jam. That and circadian rhythms, you'd love geeking out on her research.
Kristen Holmes.
Is there anything else that you have discovered that works well for you?
I think recovery in general is really important. And there are things that work for me, probably similar things for other people, from massage to acupuncture.
Dry needling?
I think I have actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Interesting.
I do go with the massage, the acupuncture. I also leverage a lot of homeopathy and naturopathy, which is really helpful. I learned a lot about that over in Europe. It's very big over there. But also at Orangetheory, we're looking much more into recovery as we think about Orangetheory in the future and things that that our members love, that we want to maintain about our workouts, but also things that we know are really important for people's recovery and making them slightly more prominent in our workouts. Recovery is big, and one of the things, just plain stretching. People aren't talking about that anymore. There's an app called Bend. And I was working out with a franchisee last week in Kansas City. And I said, wow, my hips are so sore. I had been on the road a few days and have all my tools with me. And he said, I was feeling the same thing. I wasn't recovering. And then I started with this app and he showed it to me. I do it every morning. It's been a game changer because I stretch anyway, but just like focused. And so learning more about it. Yeah. And then obviously thinking about how we bring that a bit more prominently into the Orangetheory workout, the end of the Orangetheory workout. All our workouts are science-backed, so we do have some recovery built in, but we're thinking about making that even more prominent for our members.
I think you have such an opportunity to educate, right, within the community, because people don't necessarily have easy access to information. They trust you for fitness side of it, but you could expand on the wellness and the recovery side.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it before in our conversation, just how personal fitness is, and each individual needs different things. And that's one area where we've been able to meet members where they are, is with their personalized data. So there's a template for the workout, as you would imagine, and the coaches teach to the workout. But there's two elements of personalization. One is they're helping people achieve the results that they know the members want to achieve. But also through our data and our tracking, members are able to really gauge how hard they want to go from a heart rate zone training perspective. And then also there's just a lot of variety when it comes to weight. We've got weights from, I guess, 8 pounds up to 90. Yeah. It's quite personalized. And in that respect, you're right. There's a lot of education we can do and that we are doing, but there's always more we can do. Sure. We want to make sure that...
And your clients are also growing with you, right? I'm at it for over a decade, so I've changed so much from where I started that you got to keep, I guess, it's tough to please everybody, but...
And there's also our long-term members who are growing with us, which is fantastic, and we want to be absolutely relevant for them. And only 25% of the U.S. population has even ever had a fitness membership.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we have so much opportunity to bring more people into fitness in a very accessible way. I think Orangetheory is trying to be for If you've never worked out, you can come to us. Just show up. We'll do the rest.
Totally.
So you don't have to be in great shape to start with us. In the early days of Orange Theory, you'll probably remember members would have their before and after pictures posted up, and it was a big conversation point. People can get fit with us and then stay fit.
And it's amazing how it really can appeal to every fitness level. I mean, it's a very inviting environment. There are so many group fitness places that are like, even to somebody who's fit and been working out a long time, very intimidating or obnoxious, just not really, not welcoming.
Yes. Sometimes rooms can be too dark, music too loud, you can't see. And you need to be an accessible option for people in order to be able to make a difference, help people achieve their results. And that's what we're all in it for.
Are there ways that, I'm sure there's corporate programs, are there ways, I know Dave was always talking about how insurance, it would be amazing to be able to tap into that somehow. Is that happening?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that question because it's a live conversation right at this very moment. So there's a couple things going on here. Number one, there's the insurance piece. And then number two, even more exciting, is the HSA FSA piece. Wow. So on the insurance front, some programs, Optum, Hub, Ash, some of these programs are offering benefits where you can tap into Orange Theory as a part of that. So that's great. Those are still relatively small today. They'll probably continue to grow. And I think for the model to be win-win for the member or the individual, for Studio Fitness and for the insurance company, the programs probably still need to evolve a little bit, but that's an encouraging trajectory.
For sure.
And what's even more democratic and more exciting, most of us are saving some money for healthcare expenditures through HSA or FSA programs. And traditionally, those have not been allowed to be used towards fitness. And that there's a bill in Congress right now where if this bill passes, that will be allowed starting in 2026.
Wow. And
so we're encouraging all of our franchisees and members, and certainly all of us, to be contacting our Congress men and women to make sure they're supporting this package as it comes through Congress, because it's fundamental to helping our country get back to health. With obesity rates at nearly 50%. And then there's also a stat from the CDC. The recommended movement for adults is either 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity or 75 minutes per week of high intensity, combined with 1 day of weight training. You have less than half the adult population hitting that.
And that's not a very high bar.
No, exactly. And then you mentioned Athletech. At Athletech yesterday, there's another stat which is super interesting, where the number of steps a day the average U.S. adult is taking. So we're all wearing these tracking devices, these health monitoring devices. And so are our European colleagues. And so now there's tons of data. The number of steps we're taking every day as U.S. adults is about half of what our European counterparts are taking. So just the stepping itself has a massive positive benefit. And just while we're on the subject in terms of positive benefits and longevity and what's required to live a long and healthy life, we know that is cardiorespiratory health as measured through VO2 max, and it is strength as measured through grip strength. Your cardiorespiratory health determines how long you're going to live, and your grip strength determines how well you're going to live. Are you going to be in a wheelchair, or are you going to be active for the longevity? So what excites me is that strength and cardiorespiratory health, that's what Orange Theory, that's the prescription we deliver. And that's what's required to live a long, healthy life. So one of our big, hairy, audacious goals at Orange Theory is to become our members' partner in longevity. So I think that's all very exciting for me professionally, for our members, and for all of those we seek to serve. What's even more exciting for humanity is that movement, whether it's the steps per day we were talking about before, or the requirements from the CDC that we just mentioned in terms of being healthy, all of that contributes to better cognitive health.
Sure.
And cognitive health is a big challenge we are facing as a nation today, but we haven't seen anything yet because every day you have hundreds of thousands of boomers turning 65 or above. So we think about this big population of people very likely to live a long life. Now, that quality of life will depend on how they've lived the first 65 years. But if you think about the rates of any type of cognitive impairment, usually dementia, about 9% of all those over 65 have been diagnosed with some type of cognitive impairment, but diagnosis rates themselves are far below what they should be. Estimates are around 60%, even if you Google this.
Right.
So we're thinking about this. If we think about all the comorbidities and the healthcare challenge there, now we're adding cognitive health on top of it. And so as our society becomes more aware of this and they realize, you know what, it's the holy trilogy, which is the panacea for everything. It is getting the right amount of exercise at the right intensities and weight training. It's the right diet and the right sleep, healthy, vibrant life. And I'm really passionate about this, like all of the comorbidities plus cognitive, like it's an easy fix.
Right.
It just requires the discipline that you talked about earlier. And that discipline can be reinforced with our government and healthcare system realizing that this is really the way we need to be going. Because if we have so many more healthy people for so much longer, our GDP that growth will far outpace whatever we're not spending on medications and hospital visits.
Totally.
And so there's a payoff there.
It's the difference between healthcare and sick care.
Exactly. And sick care is, by and large, it's 90% of what we receive here in the U.S. today.
But it's amazing how you really just tied together movement with cognitive health. And regardless of, and maybe I would assume that's definitely not a very foreign concept. I think mental health too. For me, it's huge. If I don't work out, I didn't work out today. Again, it's amazing how many Americans never had a gym membership.
75%.
And you could throw a weight vest on and just go for a walk. You don't even have to throw the weight vest on. You could just go for a walk, to your point, steps, right?
Exactly.
But the weight vest movement's interesting.
Yeah,
I've been using a weight vest forever. And I know that Orangetheory had Amorphos in
Yes.
some of their locations.
Yes.
And now I think I see more women walking in my community in weight vests, which I love. And now you see different gyms adding treadmill weight vest classes.
Yes. And so this is something, you're right. We have the Amorpho weight vest in several of our studios now. And it's a little bit on a trial basis to see what the usage is, the feedback from members. It's something we can easily scale. I got my first vest a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I did my first Orangetheory class in a 5-pound Amorpho weight vest 2 weeks ago. The first 5 minutes of that workout were intense. I started on the tread. It felt like 15 pounds, not 5 pounds. But then you know what? After that first 5-10 minutes, I forgot it was on. By the time I went to the weight floor, I don't think I was doing anything differently. Given that experience, I'm probably going to use it again. My personal weight vest is 7.5 pounds. So I wear that on my own for walks and runs. Yeah. But I might try that 5 pounds again on the tread.
It's interesting. I'll occasionally do some more intense physical challenges. And a lot of the people that do that wear weight vests, but 25, 35, like crazy. And I think that's going to be something that's here to stay, weighted clothing. There's boardroom vests that people are already wearing. I would wear a vest right now if it was just 5 pounds, just my everyday. I think that's awesome. I really do.
Not to go back to the cognitive point, but they are finding, like you've heard of the weighted blankets, there's a real comfort that comes with wearing weighted clothing that's not too heavy, but like the 5 pounds would be.
It was 2.5.
Exactly.
It was a long sleeve shirt that had some weight to it.
There's some real cognitive comfort that comes with that. And so that's actually a remedy for people with anxiety, some people with autism. Like, it is an actual remedy.
I've really enjoyed the saddest part of this podcast ending is that I'm not going to see you for this is now a 2-day event. I feel like I'm not going to see you for several months, and
You're going to have to come to Boca.
Fortunately, I have a lot of family in Boca, so there is that, and that's an easy one. And I have a feeling, based on the amount that we travel, we're going to be in different directions, passing in the air many times. But I wanted to just acknowledge how great it's been to meet you over the past 2 days, spend the time together. Thank you again for the invite to work out. I think I invited myself, but you made it happen, which is all that matters. And I'm so excited to see the next chapter with you and my beloved Orangetheory.
Well, thank you so much, Jay. This has just been so much fun. I've also enjoyed meeting you. I look forward to staying friends in fitness, friends in life. But this has just been great. Thank you for the opportunity to come on your podcast and share a little bit more about myself and Orangetheory and my thoughts about longevity.
I love it. We'll do a part 2, more on longevity. We have to dig deeper. We'll
Can't
make
wait.
that happen.
Can't wait.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.